Doesn't matter, Brian. AFC South champions. Jeffery Simmons is the best player on the Tennessee Titans. Love that feedback. He's their best player, and he's upset. Why is he upset? It's because he doesn't think the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward are getting the respect that they deserve. Here's Jeffrey.
First off, I think that our team, Tennessee Titans, never get the respect and attention we need. I never seen the number one pick overall never get the respect and, quite frankly, the attention that he deserved. But I think that's a chip on his shoulder. You could tell the way he go about his business, his swagger, his demeanor. This is going to be one of the ones that, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to get back to Camp Wood next week to be more around him and to learn a little more about him.
Jeffery Simmons could pick me up and throw me through a door like I'm Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, okay? But with all due respect, Jeffery Simmons, blow it out your ass, dude. I mean, the Titans suck. They've always sucked since moving to Tennessee and that one Super Bowl that they went to. No team has missed out while being the one seed in the AFC more. 0 for 3, one and done each of those 3 times. And they draft the quarterback. We're supposed to believe that this time in that organization run by that family, it's going to work out. I mean, post Steve McNair, name one quarterback that was worthy of respect for more than one season. Vince Young, it was just one season as a rookie. He was his own worst enemy afterwards. We're talking about cocktail Kerry Collins. We're talking about Matt Hasselbeck. Remember first-round pick Jake Locker? Remember Marcus Mariota? Told you he was a bust before you guys realized he was a bust. Ryan Tannehill was smoke and mirrors, second-best quarterback in Titans history. And then there was Will Levis. Don't tell us what we need to say about this team. They're an afterthought with ugly uniforms, and Cam Ward doesn't deserve any respect as the number 1 overall pick. No number 1 overall pick deserves respect. You earn respect by playing. You earn respect by winning. F the Titans, F their cannibal fan base, and piss off. Like, we don't get enough respect. Stop. You don't deserve any. You don't deserve any time. You should be relegated to Thursday night football games in the middle of the year and only get to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. End rant. Like, I get it, Jeffrey. You're upset. Demand a trade and get out of there. But the Titans don't deserve any commentary, mention, respect. They suck. And they will continue to. How about the Jaguars? Are they going to be disappointing this coming season? Trevor Lawrence, their quarterback, was on Pardon My Take, and he finally said something that I have been waiting to hear from him and from the Jaguars over the last couple of seasons, because there's always been so much hype for this team and so little of it paying off. Here's what he said with Pardon My Take. There he is, Liam Cohen, head coach of the Jaguars. This is what he had to say on Pardon My Take earlier in the week. He was actually pretty realistic.
And yeah, I mean, like where I'm at in my career, year 5, like it's time to go and start winning consistently and be not just that team where it's like, you're always like, no one really takes you seriously. You want to be that team that's always competing for, playoffs, Super Bowls, and you're in the hunt.
Yeah.
So that's, of course, I see it through that lens of like, yeah, it's year 5. And, I feel like this is like getting into my prime. Like I got a lot of good years left ahead of me and I need to really turn it on. And I think what we've built around me and what they've done this offseason has been a great start.
It's going to be really interesting to see what James Gladstone, the new GM of the Jaguars, does, and if any of it works out. I tend to root against him because of all the LinkedInese that he has used to describe what his vision for the Jaguars is this offseason. Just listen to the guy talk. And then you look at him, and is he trying to grow a mustache? Is that just stubble? Does he never shave? I'm not really 100% sure what he's going for there. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you can see I've got about like 3 days of facial hair going. He always looks like he has like 2 to 3, but it's never actually like standing out. I don't know. It just lends you to look at him as if he is a child and not the general manager of an NFL team. They traded a lot to go and get Travis Hunter, first. And second, they have to cut ties with a lot of players that they thought were going to be key players. Maybe that does help them out, sweeping everything out. But I don't know. The way that this guy's talking just makes me have a hard time believing that he's going to be able to surround Trevor Lawrence with the guys necessary to elevate his play. Lawrence is an average to above average quarterback. I think he's better than whatever the Andy Dalton line of quarterbacks would be today, like the 18th, 19th, 20th best quarterback in the league. He's probably a little bit better than that. But the overthrows are constant. He weirdly does not have as much control of his body as you think he would, whether it's with the accuracy issues that he has from time to time. He sails a lot of passes. And on top of that, with the like almost slide that wasn't a slide that Azeez Al-Shaair knocked his world out on, I don't know what he was trying to do there, but it felt indecisive. And I feel like that's his issue. He's got all the skills, but there's something missing. And yeah, I don't think Travis Hunter playing defensive back and wide receiver is going to improve that, you know? By the way, the former Jaguars executive who stole a ton of money from the organization, he's been charged with 6 counts of grand theft under Florida law. He's embezzled $22 million from the team. For those who don't know Florida law, if you are charged with 6 counts of grand theft, they actually take you to a swamp and they will have a gator bite your arm off. I'm from Florida, so I'm familiar with this process. It does a really good job, I think, of keeping people from stealing. But I think that's what he's going to have to deal with in addition to jail time. So jail and a little nub as a present, because that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, okay? What else is going on around the South Side? I saw this the other day, and I feel bad that my first instinct was to say, oh, this guy's trying to pull off a rebrand. But Anthony Richardson is now Anthony Richardson Sr. At some point in March, he had a son. He named him Anthony Richardson. So now the back of his jersey says senior. Congratulations to Anthony Richardson. Congratulations to the woman who brought that child into the world. I hope that they have a great life. I hope their family goes on to have great years together. There is a part of me, though, that feels like Anthony Richardson is attempting to rebrand himself after a season where his maturity was called out often. The guy subbed out of a 3rd and long against the Texans when the Colts were still hanging around in the division race. It was a pretty key 3rd down. You're just subbing yourself out of the play. And I think that this is perhaps changing your name to Anthony Richardson Sr. and having people calling you Anthony Richardson Sr. on your jersey. It feels like you're trying to convince people that you're a little more mature now that you have a father, or now that you are a father. And I think a lot of people believe that, like, hey, if I have a kid, I've got a little more wisdom than you. Hey, if I've got a family, I've got a little more wisdom than you. And yeah, in those elements, for sure, you definitely have that on me. But it doesn't necessarily make you like a more street smart person or something like that. And I don't think it necessarily makes you more mature. And I'll say this about this, like, hey, I hope Anthony Richardson's a great father, but if I were in the midst of a quarterback competition with Daniel Jones, I don't know that I would want to be thinking about raising an infant. Just personally, I think it would be tough. Going to be a lot of long, sleepless nights, you would think, right? But he's going by Anthony Richardson Sr. now. And that, to me, was interesting.